Supplement Kitchen reviews here today with another Behind the Brand episode for you guys. Today we have Water Buffalo Training Method on with us, and their owner and founder. We're going to learn a little bit more about the brand, dive into some questions, and you get to know them. So let's get started.
What's going on, guys? My name is Old School Matt here. I am with Water Buffalo Training Method, aka Water Buffalo TM. We'll get into a whole bunch of stuff about our brand, but a little bit about me. I am still currently in school, but I decided to start my own fitness brand in 2018/2019 to kickstart myself in the fitness industry. Over a couple of years of building the brand, we officially launched in late 2019, and now we've transitioned from just doing training programs and different online training concepts to doing full apparel, customized apparel merchandise. And we're dabbling into the supplement industry as we dropped our first supplement product last September. And I'm excited to be talking to Corey and talk about the different stuff that goes on with us, and also tell you guys a little bit about Water Buffalo and myself. So
awesome, man. A couple things. Where are you located?
I'm actually in South Florida, West Palm Beach. So when we started the company, I was in my third year of college. And when I say we, I had two guys that when I started the brand, I decided to have them come on with me and help me out with a little bit of content here and there. So we officially started in West Palm Beach, went up to Gainesville because I had to go back to school. I was taking classes online and I was trying to finish my degree online, but I couldn't. So we went back up to school, and then the pandemic hit. So I came back down to South Florida. Now we're stationed back here in South Florida. So all of our operations are basically ran out of South Florida. But we do have a lot of ties and relationships to the Gainesville area. For anyone who's familiar with Florida, it's like North and South Florida. So South Florida would be West Palm Beach. Gainesville would be North Florida.
Yeah, I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, man. So,
okay, awesome.
Yeah. So what's up?
Were you born there?
No, just I'm born and raised in Virginia. Just always, when they came around, just love them.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, man. Cool deal. Well, talking about Florida, trying to get in the supplement space, especially in Florida, is pretty tough. There's like, let's see, 3 to 5 big brands down there that I can think of.
Yeah, definitely.
Getting in is going to be awesome. So let's segue right there into the brand. You've already told us about the name. Where did that come from?
So the name came from an idea. So I like I said, when I first started the brand, it was like, I like to say I started in 2018, but I didn't officially launch until late 2019, early 2020. And the reason why I say I started in 2018 was because I started writing a bunch of stuff that had to do with fitness and training content. And I was super into the bodybuilding space when I was younger. But unfortunately, when I went to school, I kind of gave up the bodybuilding roots, as many people who are watching this that are around my age or who have been to party schools before. When you go to college, you kind of lose track of the passions that have nothing to do with having a good time and going out and partying. So obviously bodybuilding and partying don't really have to do with one another. But so after I went through that little phase in my college time, I decided that I wanted to get together and put down some content to help people and get my page back running. If you look back in the day when I was in high school, like I was saying before, I was super into bodybuilding, especially went to a couple of expos, got to train with people like Kevin Levrone. I don't know if you're familiar with him. And I got to meet guys like Rich Piana. I was about to start working with 5% Nutrition until he actually passed away, and just super into the fitness industry, about to make that breakthrough, entrance. And then college hit, and I was just so focused on having a good time and worrying about that I kind of fell off in the fitness industry per se. And honestly, I didn't even train at one point for 4 or 5 months. And after all that went on, I got back into it. Like I said, started creating content for people to help people out. And then I came out with these 2 ebooks, over 1,000 pages of free content. I still give them out to this day. And hopefully one day when I have the time, I'll be able to remaster them and make them look all nice and professional. Because I just put them out on Google Docs. So I was just sharing it with people. And it was just honestly out of the goodness of my heart to help other people out. And I didn't really care too much about, how perfect it looked or the graphic design or any of that stuff. But super good content. Everything was I did all my research, had, citations and all this stuff. It was awesome. And a lot of people liked it. So after that, it kind of like rebooted me back into that fitness space. And I started getting people to hit me up about, training and online programs. And at that time, like I just wanted to do it for free. So I was writing all these programs. I actually helped 3 of my friends compete also in their first shows. And then I also helped another one of my friends compete in 2 shows. So I was helping people, doing all this stuff for free. And then me and my buddy, one of the guys who I first started the brand with, he helped me record a bunch of videos at the gym. And I was like, you know what? I think this would be really cool to make a program where instead of just writing everything down, have a video for each exercise and, take all the stuff that I've learned and put it onto like a learning platform. Unfortunately, learning platforms to distribute courses online are not free. So it took around like $350 to start up the whole thing for a year. So I was like, I might as well just charge people for it. And then when I realized that I had an end product, I was like, I don't want to make people pay for something that I don't think that it's worthy to pay for. So I put more time into it, put more energy. And then eventually leading into late 2019 is when I finally finished the course. It's 100 days worth of workouts. Every day has at least 6 or 7 videos. Each video is broken down by exercise and diet, nutrition. There's also some recovery protocols on there from like YouTube and stuff like that. So people that I trust and I feel like are good for others to follow. And it's like a full diet plan on there. There's a bunch of crazy videos. It's awesome. It's really, really good content. I hope one day to redo the program as well. And since then, I've had, I think like 2 weeks ago, and even now I have people signing up for it, even though we don't really push it that much. Cause like I said, and like I was telling you earlier, Corey, we're trying to like rebranch and change the brand to fit what we think is best for our audience. So we don't necessarily push the training program anymore, but so many people have liked it and loved the workouts and the creativity of it. Is that still like I still get people signing up for it. Every week I get a couple people at least. So it's awesome, and I love to hear back from the feedback for people. And it's a really, really good learning platform. And hopefully, like I said, we'll be able to revisit that one day. But that's basically how we started the brand. It started off as training, and then eventually turned into let's make something else out of this. Let's make cool designs. Let's do tank tops. Let's do this, that, and then the big thing happened where in middle 2020. Around June, I had a buddy of mine who told me that he had a friend who worked at a supplement manufacturer company, and they were looking for clients because they had low minimum order quantities and they were having trouble getting the orders fulfilled. So they wanted other brands to come in that were new clients to become part of their, whatever leads process, and they wanted to get people in. And due to COVID-19, they were thinking about shutting down their operations. I took advantage of this opportunity. I jumped right on it. And unfortunately, like I said to you earlier, I don't have the biggest budget in the world. So I had to be very strategic with the formulation. And also at the time when we had our people that are following the content, it was very beginner based. So if you look at the Pre's formula, a lot of people might think that it's not like the best Pre in the world. It's not meant for like the crazy, bodybuilder and whatnot. That was the whole purpose of the pre-workout. It was supposed to be like an intro supplement towards someone who has never taken a pre-workout before. That's why the stims are low. That's why the beta-alanine's not super, super high. To kind of give someone like a good enough feel in the gym so they don't feel like they're, on drugs. And because a lot of people will complain about those sort of things. So that's the reason why we started the pre-workout the way we did. And then eventually, like I was telling you later, we're looking to change the supplementation formula now that we have a different type of audience that's following our content. And we jumped on that opportunity. We got out. We launched the Pre in September of 2020. And since then, it's done pretty well. And it's about that time to where we are recreating the formula, doing another product. And then by, God willingly, by 2021 or 2022, we'll hopefully even do one more product. So we'll have 3 products in our line. But by the end of this summer, we will have 2 new products. It will be a reformulation of the buff sauce and then another product that if we have time, we'll speak about as well.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that was one of the questions, your intended audience. So that definitely knocks that out of there as far as the product goes. And that helps me along the way knowing. But hey, there's nothing wrong with starting with the beginner Pre, it's one of those things that not everybody needs a high stem, 400 milligrams of caffeine, whatever it may be, like you said. So that's awesome. And then back to the ebook stuff, how you were saying you did all that for free. Yeah, it may be free, but the best thing I think about this space and things that you get out of it, it may not always have a monetary return, but when you're able to help someone better their life, by doing something or providing them material like that, man, it just makes you, when they come back and tell you their story, it makes you feel 100 times
Definitely.
better. So that's awesome.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
no, I really enjoy doing that. I still do to this day. Obviously nowadays, like we've talked about earlier on the podcast, or when we were talking earlier before we started the podcast, and I'm sure that you've talked to other people about this too. When you're trying to do your own creative stuff, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time. So sometimes I get like, I would love to just keep pumping like content for fitness stuff. But unfortunately, like, since I'm the only one who runs the creative side of my brand as well, it takes a lot of time to do those things. So I try to do the best that I can with my page still in terms of fitness content. But I have helped like hundreds of people by now, and those people that watch definitely appreciate it. And I don't even need like a thank you. It's just nice to put that energy back into the world. And also it helps me as an individual learn how to communicate with others, because when I first started helping people in that fitness space, obviously my knowledge was, let's just say, here. And as I grown with that and learn more and learn different things, my knowledge has grown. And the amount, like the communication between me and those people when I first started out is so much different to now. And like you were saying, like, it doesn't really have to do with money, because when I first started out, I was in college. I was 20 years old. I didn't really have the concept of money. I'm 22 now, but I didn't really have the concept of money and making money. And when people asked to pay me, I would just do it for free, because I thought that I was getting something. Like, I kind of felt bad almost in a way. Nowadays, I still, if I can help, I'll do it for free. Obviously, if it's like a lot of my time, I feel like at this point I need to have some sort of compensation. That's why I started the business. But I like, if anyone has like quick tips that I can answer right away, or like even if it's not quick, if I have the time, I'll answer it. And I always try to answer everyone who sends me messages.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're right there. Now, as far as man, lost my train of thought. But like you were saying, you know, a lot of you're learning a lot through this process, and I'm a firm believer that we all can learn from each other, some way, some form, somehow.
Definitely.
And I'm right there with you through this whole thing of this review stuff and connecting with people. I've learned so much, not only from just supplements, you know, on a personal level as well, life, different things like that. And you actually get some of your best friends. You'd be surprised who you become best friends with. And they may be, you know, thousands of miles away. So it's definitely awesome. You know, social media is a crazy thing nowadays.
Yeah, no, I love it. And when a lot of people try to hate on social media for being like toxic and whatnot, I do agree there's a lot of bad stuff on social media. And if you see, sometimes I will call people out for doing like quote unquote bad things. But I think that there's such a good side to social media that if it wasn't for the, unfortunately, human nature likes to draw a lot of attention towards like bad, negative things, drama and whatnot. If it wasn't for that part of human nature, I feel like the use of social media could throw us like 1,000 years ahead, because the information that travels between like person to person, like I've learned so much online from different either paid resources or even free like publications like studies, you know, PubMed, whatever, Google Scholar. There's so much stuff to be like just absorbed out there that 10, 15 years ago was virtually impossible to find. And then even 25, 30 years ago was like, you can't even, like, it wasn't even possible. You had to go to a school to get these research papers and whatnot. You know what I mean? Nowadays it's, I think you're frozen. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah.
Sorry. I think you might, am I frozen on your screen?
No, you're good.
Okay. You're frozen, but it's all good. But anyways, everything that's all the information that's out there is just so easily available, and it's great. You know, the transfer of information is unreal. Something that I can attest to that I've learned this year a lot has been a lot of financial and investment stuff through social media, through ebooks and whatnot. And I'm not saying I'm a financial advisor or anything like that, like now, but I've learned so much by just absorbing and taking time out of my day to follow qualified people. That it's been great. You know, that's another aspect of my life that I've added to my little portfolio of knowledge by just being curious on the right things online.
Yeah, man, definitely agree 100%. All right, so let's move into the brand a little more here. I know you already touched on your first product. Let's touch a little bit more. You said you have some upcoming stuff. What you got?
Yeah, so we're looking to do a nootropic and essential amino acid blend. We have the formulation pretty much down pat and done. And like I said, now that I have a little bit more money flowing in from the business and different opportunities, I have a little bit better of a leeway to target my formulations towards, because eventually, like, I didn't want the brand always to be about just beginners. It's just, that's what it started out being, people that never really lifted before. I always obviously had affinity for the fitness industry. Like, for example, for us, we were doing training programs. If I'm doing that, most of the audience is going to be people that want to learn how to work out. But now that I'm networking with different people that have already been in the fitness industry, or who are boxers or MMA fighters or power lifters, for example, I'm able to kind of change what we do with the brand to cater a little bit more towards them, if that makes sense. So something that I've found and something that I've seen that's been a trend and something that I feel like has a lot of good upward potential has been the resources and the ability to be productive in today's society, because society moves so quickly. And a supplement that has helped me personally, and I know a lot of people out there has helped them as well, has been nootropics, and the ability to, in layman's terms, open your brain up to more capacity in a workday. It's not like Adderall. I mean, some can be, but it's not like a limitless pill where you take, a nootropic and you're good for 15 hours. But it's like, it's like a pre-workout pump formula. It's like, you're not going to go into the gym, your arms are going to grow 3 inches, but you're going to go in the gym and you say, wow, you know what? I have a really nice pump today. The same way as when I started to take nootropics and discover the reasons why, like one of my big nootropics that I take every day is ginkgo biloba. Some of the stuff that it can do to your brain, opening up pathways and different stuff like that. And also the long-term benefits from nootropics that no one really likes to talk about either, because everyone wants that, the instant benefit, but there's so much good that goes into nootropics. Or people like to call them nootropics, however you pronounce them. There's so much benefits that go into them. And I think that now there's substantial research out there that kind of backs the good ones and kind of like says, okay, there's other newer nootropics out there that we can't really stand behind. But the product that I'm coming out with, the reason why I do essential amino acids and nootropics is because I was drinking EAAs all day and I was enjoying the taste out of them. It's a typical, gym bro carrying around his gallon with his amino acids. And I was drinking essential amino acids, and I enjoy having like that sweet taste in my mouth or something just to keep me going. And obviously, we could talk about the benefits of essential amino acids, but it's pretty simple, kind of like feed your body the building blocks for it to help muscle protein synthesis, whatnot, et cetera. But I was thinking, like, people don't really have something that there are others out there, but there's not many that they can kind of feed their brain and feed their body at the same time, if that makes sense. They're like the closest thing I can think of that people drink a lot that has EAAs and nootropics in it would be like a Bang. But unfortunately with Bang Energy, it's like 300 milligrams of caffeine. So like if you don't want an energy drink and you just want something to kind of like uplift your mood a little bit, the only closest thing I could think of is maybe like an amino energy from I don't know, I forget, the Optimum Nutrition. I don't know if you've heard of it before. Yeah. So something like that. It's very similar towards what amino energy does, but I wanted to add a little bit of theanine in there, some ginkgo biloba, some alpha GPC, because I feel like these specific ingredients have a lot of effect in the brain that not only helps you in the moment, but over a long period of time, sustaining and developing good protocols for studying, working, creating content, etc. So that's our next venture.
Heck yeah. Alpha GPC is my go-to. I take that every morning personally before work. I think pays off well, but I definitely think it's a cool product. It reminds me of two products come to mind on the market. NutraBio has their
Alpha Energy,
Alpha EAAs, and then Primeval Lab had a EAA Energy, I think, or something similar. So those are two products that come to mind. But other than that, you can definitely tailor that and make it. It sounds like you have some cool ingredients that you're wanting to throw in there as well that I don't think anybody else has really played with that I know of.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, like I said, Water Buffalo is not here to take over Redcon 1 or anything like that just yet, obviously. And all I'm trying to do is scale the business and find ways that I can enter the fitness industry in the best way it's going to not kill my pocket, but also, help me grow over time. Like me and you we all both have a 9-to-5 per se job. I have a job with an insurance company that I work for. So Water Buffalo is not bringing me in, thousands of dollars a week or a month. So I know that realistically it's going to take a little bit of time, because it's either, put a bunch of money into it right away, which I don't necessarily have because I'm still in college, still trying to grow my life at the age of 22, or take the longer route and, time play its thing. And that's the biggest thing, is I think that with time, our products and our merchandise and all this stuff will catch on. And I've seen, substantial growth, and it's really cool to see that I'm able to connect in different spaces as well. Like I was telling you earlier, when I first started the brand, like I've mentioned a couple times already, it was a lot of beginners, sort of like bros that were in the gym, but not really knowing what's going on, but wanted to get into the gym. And now that, I've joined different, so this past year I did 2 powerlifting competitions, never powerlifted a day in my life, but just did them just to, meet new people, network a little bit, and get some, content for the business. Now that I'm doing that, I've joined a boxing gym that I go a couple nights a month to go spar. I've met people there, and I've always been into boxing and whatnot. And now that I've kind of like connected these worlds together, and I have a lot of bodybuilding roots from all throughout high school, I was like obsessed with bodybuilding. I can kind of connect all these industries together, and not necessarily, get the top guys in each industry. But, get guys who enjoy boxing, like people that like to go hit the bag a couple of days of the week. And then also, they know how to pose. They know how to, they know the bodybuilding poses. Or somebody who's a bodybuilder and he likes to live heavy. So he's maybe not going to compete at a national powerlifting competition, but, he likes to put on his Inzer belt or whatever and do heavy deadlifts one day. So that's where I think the brand is really going. And that's why we're trying to tailor our content and our products towards that space, but also, staying true to the people who help support us along the way.
Yeah, no, definitely. That is a smart approach, especially if you can get a little here and there, and especially if it's something you enjoy doing. I mean, that's definitely another plus. But yeah, I think like your thought process as far as this product goes, getting that, you got to find a niche in this space, because it is what it is. This is an oversaturated market. It is what it is. Definitely. And if you can find your niche, just get your foot right in there and have a product that kind of separates you even this much from these other guys. Yeah. And then you kind of just slowly work your way in. So I think you have a great a great idea to kind of get in there and jump feet first.
Yeah, no, that's why we're doing it, and thank God we switched up the manufacturers from the first time we worked with, from the first time when we did the buff sauce with. We found a guy or a lab who does it in Florida, which is really nice because they're close to us. The other people were in New York, and now I'm able to get right where I need to with the quantity of the products. Because I mean, if people are watching and are wondering like what it is behind the scenes to get like a supplement out there, a lot of the places require you to get like 500 kilograms of a certain formula, which is like 3,000 bottles. And somebody who wants to start off their own product, 3,000 bottles at, let's just say, for example, $10 a tub is 30 grand. Like $30,000 is not chump change for any startup business. You know what I mean? And if you want to just do this, is fine. But if you have other things, like we do apparel, we want to eventually expand and bring all of our stuff right here, because I have all this stuff in my house. And I also, if you check out my Instagram or the Water Buffalo Instagram, we have like our own little gym. It's basically my garage. We want to take that and put it into a facility in the next 2 years. So there's a lot of different moving pieces that I want going, but the only issue obviously has to do with money, and the only way you can outbeat money is time. So over time, I'm building my own wealth, and that's why we're doing things the way we do it. So
yeah, and just to hit on, I mean, in this space, just seeing some of the smaller companies that have succeeded over the years that have been doing this, it's anywhere from a 3 to 5 year process before you even see any kind of return normally. Definitely. Back. So that's the average. I mean, I have seen people turn it around a lot faster, but
yeah, definitely. I mean, like I'm not, obviously you can have let's just say if you have like a collaboration with one individual and you never know, like one person follows you here and the next, it could be overnight, but it's like you either get lucky or you work really hard, and I'm banking on working really hard, because if you bank on being lucky, a lot of times or most of the time you'll fall short. So I know it's probably going to take another 1, maybe 2, maybe even 5 years, who knows, as long as I have the ability to fund and do what I have to do for the business, it'll continue. So it's because I enjoy doing what I do, and fortunately I have the ability to work for a company that allows me to have time for myself. So it's awesome.
Hell yeah, man. Awesome. Well, that's a good segue actually into one of the first questions that I have for you. What do you wish to accomplish within the next year?
So for the next year, I just hopefully be able to launch both of these products. So one of the products is already in its it's already on the way. The nootropic supplement's got it about another 4 weeks, and it should be ready. 4 to 5 weeks should be ready. And then the pre-workout hopefully will be following right along, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after. So just launch those, reestablish our own space. Because what we're also doing is we're also taking Water Buffalo Training Method, not retiring the name, but changing it to Water Buffalo TM. So it's going to be more about our brand, our podcasts, our lifestyle, the different people that represent the brand, the clothing and whatnot. And then when we drop the nootropic product, it's going to change over to Water Buffalo Labs, which will be a part of Water Buffalo TM, obviously. But just our Instagram is so saturated with content because I have so much stuff, like between the podcast that I do a lot of training edits of people working out here at our little gym, and Buff Sauce promos and pictures. It's just like so much, and trying to stay consistent with like one theme on the page is kind of hard. So I'm trying to take like the pre-workout and the nootropic stuff, those I guess that area of content, push that over to another page, which will be Water Buffalo Labs. And we'll be able to have that so I can post informative content on there about the products. I can also do just promotions of those products themselves, pictures of the products themselves, without feeling like I'm ruining the whole vibe of Water Buffalo TM, because we do have like our own podcast, and we do like other different funny / crazy things on YouTube. So I want to keep that still there and still relevant, but also start using Water Buffalo Labs, like the Instagram page. And then when we launch these products, we're going to start selling on Amazon, like have that focus on the business side of like the supplement selling, if that makes sense.
Hell yeah, man. Definitely. Cool deal.
So to answer your question, the next year, just kind of establish the 2 products that we have, and hopefully just keep generating and building a following base.
Good plan. Easy enough.
Yeah.
So let's move right into this next question that I got here. What is one additional thing you wish you would have known prior to launching a brand?
I wish if I could go back in time, I definitely would have taken some sort of graphic design or creative design classes in high school or something like that, or done something in terms of video editing and whatnot, because along the way I have learned a lot of things. So like I told you before, with the different stuff I was doing with the ebooks and even the training program, it's very well, the training program is better put together than the ebooks, but to my eye now, it's not like appealing, if that makes sense. Like it's good content, but it's not visually there. Like now I'm not saying I'm an expert at videography or an expert at graphic design, but now I have a lot better understanding of how, it's when you put content out there, it's good to have like informative content, but like everybody has informative content. And if you're not able to engage and it's not appealing towards the eye, towards the ear, then you can lose a lot of your audience just because, let's just say you stand too far away from the mic, or your video quality is terrible, or there's like, 3 or 4 seconds in the beginning of you setting up your camera and then you talk, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that goes into the psychological aspect of learning on social media, and a lot of the best creators we see, their content is very flawless in terms of quality. And I'm not saying you have to go and, be Steven Spielberg when you make a chess video, you know what I mean? But I wish I would have learned a little bit more about the creative aspect of social media, because it's so easy. Like it's like 1 or 2 YouTube videos and you're good. You know what I mean? Or one class online that takes you 6 hours and you're at least a beginner in that space, instead of just like doing it and messing up and then having this look terrible. And then like, you know what I mean? So I wish I would have learned a little bit more about that side of things. But you live and you learn, and I'm enjoying doing it now. I actually do videography on the side for like whenever I have people that ask me for help, whether that's friends, family, friends of friends. I've done stuff from jewelry businesses to, I just did a wedding last weekend, and I just did a music video last weekend too. So just like those little things, I wish I would have learned earlier, because not only does it help my business, but it helps put money in my pocket at times when I need it. So
yeah, right there, from someone who does YouTube videos, it is more time consuming than people think who don't do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And learning how to like organize all your assets, if that makes sense, on, like it's one thing to learn about how to use the programs and what to do with them, but it's another thing with, like, for example, the other day, it was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more. I just started using SSDs for hard drives. I used to use HDDs. I don't know if you're familiar with those. But like the HDDs are like run off spinning disks, and my computer was slow all the time. And I was like, why the hell is my computer slow? It's because you're running off a hard drive that's not really meant to do work on. So I was like, I was spending hours sitting there waiting for the little spinning wheel or whatever it might be rendering. And I was like, it's $150 fix. I get an SSD card and now my computer runs, quickly. So just things like that. And like, honestly, you can learn a lot of that stuff from YouTube itself. There's so many videos out there of creators trying to help people. It's just like, as humans, sometimes we think that being ignorant is like, it's the easier thing to do, to be ignorant and kind of like just, but it literally takes you an hour to go on YouTube and it'll save you. I can't tell you how many times I've seen something on a program, let's just say like Final Cut Pro, for example. And I'm like, it's like, if I get off a little tangent real quick, like just making titles, for example, I used to make them on a separate software, export them, then put them onto Final Cut Pro because of an outline on our logo and our text. And I didn't realize that you could import fonts and you could use an outline on Final Cut Pro. It would have taken, all those hours of downloading, waiting for it to download, pulling it in, you know what I mean? Organizing it with a click of two buttons, so.
Yeah. I've been there with some stuff like that. So yeah, but that's awesome, man. All right. Let's go into this. I think this is a good one for us to talk about. Definitely. What is your favorite thing about the supplement industry?
I think my favorite thing so far is like stepping into the supplement industry, because I don't want anyone watching this, like we've only been doing it for about 8 months and I'm still learning it today. And I try to put out the best information and the best content I can about not even because we only have one product right now, obviously one product, one flavor. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have a variety of stuff like I was telling you earlier, but I like just the different things you can learn about and the different stuff that's out there, like not even a year ago, I didn't even know nootropics existed. I didn't know that they exist. I knew what they were. I just didn't know the benefits of them and just the variety of things out there. And now I'm looking into adaptogens too. I started to take maca, which is something that I feel like is pretty good for stress management and whatnot. And just learning that there's so many things out there that you can kind of like, not like play around with in your body, because that sounds kind of like you're experimenting on yourself, but it kind of in that way, if that makes sense. Like there's things you can take to benefit your health and learn about what you do and how your body works by just, researching ingredients. It went from me taking a multivitamin and fish oil to now I take a multivitamin, fish oil. I take fiber. I take vitamin D3, ginkgo biloba, theanine on occasion, depending on what I'm doing in the day. And what's the other one I just started taking? I just started taking something for bromelain for allergies. There's some implications that could help out with allergies. So just like little things like that is very interesting for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I started out with like fish oils and multivitamins. Now I take like mushroom blend. What else? I don't even know. Take a whole handful of shit in the morning. But yeah, so it is definitely interesting. But one thing to point out, you said that, not to sound like you experiment on yourself, but truly when you get into the supplements and there's a lot of studies about individual ingredients separate and what they do and how they work. The thing that there's nothing on is when you combine all these things together. Definitely
100%. I was just going to say that.
Yeah, so that's where it becomes weird. That's why when I talk to people about how I react to different things, it's my opinion, because I might be reacting to something a lot different than you will, because there's so many factors that people don't understand when they ask you what the best is or what should they take.
Yeah.
I don't, your height, your age, your weight, your sex, 100%. All that.
Your diet.
Factor. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was talking to somebody about this today. I'm sure maybe you're familiar, maybe not. I'm not sure, but I was talking to him because he's a vegan, and we were talking about supplements for him to start taking because he just started getting into working out again. He was a meat eater before and he went vegan, and I was just telling him like the basics, like try to get some B vitamins in you if you can, take some sort of like B complex, obviously what everyone's telling him. But I was also saying like, hey man, listen, I don't know if you've ever taken creatine before, but I know that creatine impacts vegans a lot more than people who are meat eaters regularly, because meat eaters regularly typically will get at least some sort of creatine in their body from, red meat, salmon, pork, chicken. I mean, not that chicken or pork has significant amount of creatine, but if you're a bodybuilder and you're eating a lot of chicken, or even if you're eating a lot of beef, a lot of the creatine you'll have will come from these things, and a creatine supplement won't impact you as much as it would a vegan or someone who doesn't eat a lot of meat. And I was telling him that, and he was, it was just little things like that can really impact your performance. And even if it only impacts your performance by, let's say, I don't know, 1% or 2%, but then something else impacts your focus by 1% or 2%. And now that translates into you performing a little bit better in the gym by another 2%. Next thing you know, you might be up, 5 or 6% in terms of your performance at the gym. And now that's significant, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, good point. Yeah, because, creatine is such a controversial thing when it really shouldn't be.
Yeah.
There's so many myths behind it, but, I take at least I take pills. I take 4,000 milligrams of creatine separate. And then the rest, I get through my daily intake. So I'm right there with you. But yeah, creatine is probably the most important thing, I think, when it comes, if you want to just take it.
Yeah. I mean, just take it to cover your bases. But especially like I was saying with a vegan, since they essentially get nothing from their diet, just taking a supplement for a little bit you'll definitely see like, you're not going to see like steroid gains, but you'll see a difference versus someone like me or you. If we take creatine, we'll see a difference as well, but it might not be as drastic as somebody who has never eaten meat in his life or eats very little meat,
Yeah, well, it's a saturation ingredient too, so you have to take it over time for it to even work.
Exactly. Definitely. Like the loading phase and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I tell people about, you're talking about the synergy. And I think this is really interesting because I haven't really had a conversation with anybody about this other than just like reading online and talking to people online. But I think that the synergy effect has a lot of research to be done about it because there's not a lot out there. The only thing I could think of nootropic wise is talking about theanine and caffeine. I don't know if you've seen the studies on those. Taking caffeine with theanine enhances the effect of caffeine. But I would like to see other nootropics added in there as well. I have a little bit of a theory that theanine, caffeine, and ginkgo kind of like gets me going. I don't have no scientific basis to put it on, and you can't really blame me because if you look it up, there's nothing out there for me to know. I can't go and conduct a study because I'm not a researcher, but it's like, I don't know if you know much about anabolic steroids. I've never taken any anabolic steroids, but I know a lot about them just due to my love for bodybuilding, and their effects, their compounding effects are very real. Like taking IGF-1 with insulin and testosterone, stacking is all real stuff. Like there's a lot of people and very highly rated professionals that will go and they'll vouch for saying that no, taking one compound versus taking 3 compounds, it's exponential sometimes the growth that you get from these things. And I don't know why supplements wouldn't be any different, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically it should be. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously it's not going to be to the same extent of anabolic steroids or like a different animal in the body, but even like I was saying earlier, even like 1 or 2% increase over a 90-day period is a significant amount of change. And what a lot of people don't see is that when people say like, oh, supplements are pointless, you shouldn't take, you should get everything from food. It's like, who really gets everything from food? Nobody I know. You would have to spend all day eating different things to get everything from. So taking a supplement, it's like when people say that, for example, the whole sleep thing or the whole diet thing is like, well, you don't have to be perfect for your diet. You don't have to be perfect when you diet, obviously, but be as best as you can because you don't know how well you're sleeping. You don't know how well your training is. Yeah. It's like, it's not just like when I tell people to just try to strive for greatness in all areas of fitness, the reason is because you might have to quote unquote make up for the other areas you're lacking in. Not saying that you should, but not doing so, having a really good diet. Maybe if you aren't able to train, let's just say, for example, if you have an injury, if you have a really, really good diet and you stay regimented and you can't train for a little while, having a good diet and staying on a good diet is going to help you preserve muscle longer rather than just say, fuck it, I'm already injured. I might as well just, not do anything, if that makes sense. Yeah. So when people kind of like hate on supplements and say that, oh, I shouldn't take this or I don't need it. Yeah, you don't necessarily need it, but your lifestyle and your diet isn't perfect. So maybe adding it might help you a little bit.
Yeah. And of course, yeah. And to each is their own, mm-hmm. Like when people ask me about multivitamin, this is like something that irks me. What's the best multivitamin for me? I can't tell you that. I don't know what you're deficient in. You might be deficient in one certain vitamin and you might want to take this one. So you need to really figure that part out. But
exactly.
Yeah. Well, and then back to kind of like the whole debate around certain ingredients. And a big one is like, taking antioxidants, supposedly helps with pump, but other people have the theory of that it stunts your muscle growth. So, there's that
Yeah, that
That
back and
battle.
forth. I think that a lot of what we're talking about will be solved in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't know if you heard about like DNA testing before, or like where they
Hmm.
test your DNA to see like what your body reacts to, and I don't know
Yeah.
the exact name of it, but I know that it's starting to get more prevalent. I don't know if you follow RX, RX Special Dave Palumbo.
No.
Okay, he's in the bodybuilding space. He talked about it in like 2016, 2017, and I actually worked with him for a little bit for his supplement company called Species Nutrition.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Oh,
yeah,
never mind. I know who he is. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I worked for him for a little bit when I was in college, and we were talking about that. And the way he kind of put it was that now that this DNA testing stuff is coming out, we're going to be able to kind of like personalize our stacks a little bit better. Because not everybody, like everyone who drinks a bang is not going to be influenced the same way. Just like if everyone goes and smokes a gram of marijuana, not everyone's going to be impacted the same way as if someone has a cheeseburger and someone has a cheeseburger and they go look in the mirror after, they're not going to look the same. Your body processes things differently. And I think it's just trying to find what works best for you and take data, like, for example, like the nootropic stuff. It's not like when I take them, I feel like we were saying earlier, I don't feel like I'm on Adderall or I'm on limitless pill. Like I just take one, I'm on all day long. But I take note of how I feel, how I performed that day, how distracted I was. And now with like the phones and stuff like that, you can see your screen time and what you're doing. So if you're smart about it, you can actually take data that your phone or whatever technology is giving you and see how well you're doing that day. And maybe not one day is going to give you the end all be all, but take the average over 90 days. And now you're able to see, did I actually get better, or was it just BS? But also another thing I like to hit on really quick too is that when people say that it doesn't do anything for you, and maybe it doesn't do anything for you, but there's that placebo effect. That's all that really matters, is that you're getting the effect that you wanted. It doesn't matter if it's actually happening or not. What matters is, did you get the set outcome of what you wanted to happen? If it happens to be placebo effect, we're never really going to know unless you go and get studied at a lab somewhere. You're not going to really know if your brain neuron capacity increased by taking ginkgo biloba, or if your pump got better, if your blood flow to your
Yep.
muscles was any better. You could tell by looking in the mirror, and you can tell by how you felt. And if you feel good and you feel like it's done something for you, then that's all you need.
Yeah, yeah, that is a huge thing, and what I talk to people about certain things and products, yeah, I don't care if you take the crappiest product, that's fine. But if that's what motivates you and gets your ass to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
more power to you. If that's what makes you live a healthier lifestyle, do it. I mean, I am a firm believer, supplements are about, 10 to 15% of your overall
Mm-hmm.
diet or whatever, to your fitness journey. And the rest is your mental and the work you put into it. So
Definitely.
everybody's going to be different. So, and that's why I think, it's good to have conversations like this with other people, because not everybody is open-minded to hearing and listening to these debates. It's more I'm right, you're wrong kind of thing.
Definitely. And I don't have I don't have anything wrong with people, talking about the research that goes behind dosages and whatnot. Obviously, that's very important when we're talking about, especially when you're like trying to compete at a higher level and see what's best for you. But like you said, at the end of the day, all that matters is, did you improve, and did you improve in the way you wanted to improve? And if you did, it doesn't matter if you were taking a sugar pill or if you were taking the actual thing that you thought you were taking. If you improved, then you improved. If you didn't, then you didn't. And then if you didn't improve, if you feel like, this is doing nothing for me, and you take the data over time, even if it's a 2-3 week period, then switch up to something else, switch up to a different brand, switch up to, maybe a blend of something different. I think there's so many options and opportunities out there for the supplement industry that there's no excuses not to be able to try it. Everything is so, the prices of things are going down. And I don't know, you can get into debate about, people selling fake stuff and all this stuff, but nowadays, for example, just creatine in itself, it's so much cheaper than from when I was in high school. I don't know if that's just because there was so much more hype around creatine, like being like this crazy sort of like steroid, like, supplement. But I remember back in the day, maybe now still, that people still try to sell creatine monohydrate for a crazy price. But I remember I was paying like $40 for a tub of creatine. Now you can get like a tub of creatine for like 10, $15. Just I think that the efficiency in the supplement industry is just so much easier now, and also it gives opportunities for people like myself to enter the industry, with being able to afford like some of these products, which is great, and it allows other people out there to take as much products as they like without breaking their bank.
Oh yeah, so true, so true. Yeah. I wouldn't overpay for, yeah. And I think nowadays you can get it, like you said, anywhere from 12 up to like $20. But there are companies out there trying to sell their creatine blend, and it's the most prestigious thing for like $40, and you get like 30 servings. Nah, you can get like 50 servings of like NutraBio creatine for I think like less than $20.
Exactly. And like if you have the money to spend on whatever brand makes you feel like better, like more power to you. But there's so many other, like for example, for myself, I have like a pretty steady, I have like the Amazon stuff, so I just pre-order everything on a monthly or whatever bi-monthly basis. So I have the things that I like to take, and it's like probably $60-$70 a month for my supplements in terms of multivitamins and nootropics and whatnot. So it's not it. And like people that say, oh, I can't afford supplements or I can't afford this, typically the people that will go and spend like $200 at either a bar or like dinner or whatever. And if you could find a way to not eat out once a month or twice a month, hopefully you'll see the benefits that me and Corey are talking about in terms of taking supplements. Because not only with, obviously we enjoy Buff Sauce for Water Buffalo, and we like to get hype in the gym and use it as for fun. And pre-workout is not a necessity. I never said it was. It's more of like an enhancement towards your workout. But I really like, and hopefully one day I'll be able to hone down on products that are solely based out of wellness. I think that's the most important thing. So before even buying a pre-workout or protein powder or any of that nonsense, I think a good multivitamin, a high-quality multivitamin, a vitamin D3 supplement, and fish oil supplement, even debatably a fiber supplement, are very important for just living life and being healthy, and hopefully being able to live to an older age. Fish oil, in my opinion, being almost number one. And I wanted to mention this too earlier. I forgot, like fish oil, now there's more and more studies coming out talking about how fish oil could potentially even be a nootropic in and of itself. It has nootropic properties.
I haven't really read much about that, but
the DHEA.
I was gonna say I could see it now thinking about it. That's definitely though, while we're talking about like daily stuff, underrated like area right now within like general health is like gut health.
100%.
I know like Alpha Lion, they just released their superhuman gut, and I actually used it, and I could tell a huge difference in just daily activities and things like that. So that's an underrated area that a lot of people who have issues and think like just a multivitamin or certain things are going to fix some of those common issues. It's actually a little deeper. If they get probiotics, prebiotics, and things like that running through their system, it's going to help them out a lot more. But I think that's an underrated area.
100%. I think there's a lot of areas that are coming out, and I think like we were talking about earlier, nootropics is one of them. I think gut health is another one. Another industry I think is growing. I think SARMs, if they can figure out what they're doing in terms of legalities, are growing. I've never personally taken any SARMs or pro hormones, but I think that industry, if they can find a way to make it quote unquote safe, because there's a whole debate if it's safe or not, I think that's an industry that'll probably explode, and it does well now. What else? What are some other things? I think that like sleep products are really important too, but nobody really likes to talk about them. That's another product I'd like to do in the future. Hopefully, God willingly, as we grow, I'll be able to do some sort of sleep product. But I think a lot of people who rely off sleeping medication, especially pharmaceutical medication, can really find some benefits in some natural / some supplemental like blends and compounds, whatnot.
Yeah, sleep is huge. I mean, think about if you're training, that's how you recover. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. So that is 100. I 100% agree.
And it's not like when I hear when people talk about sleep and supplements, I hear like people, I take 3 melatonin before I go to bed. No, it's not like to get you to sleep. It's more about like, you know what I mean? It's more to enhance your sleep quality, help you sleep through the night. GABA. There's some amino acids I think that help you sleep. Glycine. What else? There's some other compounds out there that I'm sure that like we're talking adaptogens as well. Another area.
A lot of those calming agents you're starting to see. So there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with sleep. To hit on that, one of the coolest things from a company that we did this behind the brand with, and we know from our supplement SNOOP group, it's called Incarnate Nutrition. They came out with a very interesting casing. It's called Twilight, and they actually incorporate. You have your casing in there, but they also incorporate melatonin in there and some other sleep stuff. And it just makes perfect sense. Why not take your casing, let it, do its thing at night and sleep better. And it works like a charm. So just things like that. If you can create a product like that and think outside the box a little bit,
Definitely.
that's what's going to set you apart.
And that's hopefully what I'm going to be able to do with it's going to be called Buff Brain and Body. So a B3. So like feed your brain, feed your body sort of thing. And honestly, it's going to be something that I'm excited to do too, because I'm going to take it on my own. Like I'm going to take it all the time. When if it's 9:30 at night, I don't like to take caffeine after a certain time. So I every day I work out, I do at least a scoop of my pre-workout. If I hadn't drink a coffee earlier in the day, I don't like to go overboard with the caffeine. I do enjoy my pre-workout. When you try it, the flavor is really nice. That's something that I really enjoy about it, is that it kind of gives me like a relaxing sort of, like, I don't drink a lot of sugary stuff all day. I don't really cheat on my diet too much. So like, that's like my escape. It's kind of like to get that little bit of sweetness in my mouth. But with this new product, I'm really excited to try it, because I haven't been able to take something like an all-in-one sort of like enhance my muscles, my muscle growth, and also enhance my cognitive function. And I think it should be interesting, because we're not going to put too much caffeine in there. I was thinking about doing no caffeine, but I think a little bit of caffeine, like if you read about it, the caffeine and theanine effect is definitely real. So I think that caffeine will only benefit and enhance the product, which would be really cool. And I'm really excited for it to come out and for people to try it, because like I'm going to be drinking it all day long.
Heck yeah. The caffeine and theanine thing. So for me personally, this is that whole ingredient impacts people differently. Theanine for me, it gives me more, even paired with caffeine, more of that kind of calming, to where like I think it oversteps its boundaries with the caffeine, what I'm looking for. But I have heard a lot of people, and I've seen the studies where it talks about the cognitive boost that it gives when you pair the two. So, I mean, I have seen that before personally, but a lot of times it does bring me back down as far as that calming effect.
And that's the thing. Like, it just depends on your body as an individual. Like, I know girls that are 130 pounds that drink 2 bangs every day and they can go to bed like with no problem. I personally I do not like high stimulant stuff, and I just like to try to keep my stimulants under control for the day. But there's a lot of different and a lot of good ways to approach the same goal. It's just, as a brand, it's like the strongest will survive, and the people that do the best job will survive, and they'll find their spot in the fitness industry. Like you were saying earlier, it's very saturated, but it's all about, in my opinion, and I might be wrong, but it's all about the time put under what you love to do. And the more time you put into something, the more effort you put into something, the more you'll get out. And that's how we're going to live here at Water Buffalo. Hopefully we continue to keep pushing out good content for everybody to watch. And we like to do things differently. That's why with this new product, I try to do something that wasn't, everyone was saying, oh, you should do a protein powder, or you should, do this and that. You should. But, I was getting a lot of people who wanted an essential amino acid supplement. And then I thought, why not pair that with something that could benefit their brain? So not only are they drinking something that's going to benefit, their body, but their brain as well.
Yeah, that's the thing that you've got to do, especially and I'm a firm believer when I talk to smaller brands that you've got to do it up front. So it's got to be one of your first launches to try and make yourself different, because from there, if you can get that first set of customers, it's cool it's a good thing to get new customers. I believe that for sure. But I tell brands working in the space that I work in, it's about the customer coming back, because when that customer comes back to you the second time, they're not only going to get this, now when you have this new product, they're going to pick that up. And then when you get your wellness line, they're going to pick that up, the one-stop shop Walmart type feel.
Definitely. And I was this close from closing on just doing like a capsule, like a 1-a-day nootropic pills. But I said, you know what, I want something that people can like I don't want it just to be like, okay, take a pill and that's it. I want something that's going to have like that. It can look visually appealing too, people walking around. I had to think, business minded too. And just to be honest with people out there, like I have an opportunity to open up different spaces here. Not only is it just like, bodybuilding and fitness, but it's like, people that are working, people that are, creating content, not just in the bodybuilding or weightlifting space. It could be boxers, it could be MMA fighters, to keep them focused. Even intra workout EAAs, are great. A lot of people swear by them. I used to do it. I just don't really like drinking anything other than water now throughout my workout. But I'd rather drink the essential amino acids, like I said, throughout the day to kind of give me something to sip on, like flavor wise. But a lot of people love the EAA's intra workout, so you can even use it intra workout. It's going to be something that I think is going to be great because it allows for people to use it as they please. So if they want to take, a full serving before they study, they can take it. If they want to just take a full serving, if they're sitting at their office all day long, just want to sip on something, they have that option. And it's going to be great. Hopefully the process will speed up and I'll be able to get that over to you sometime midsummer. I'm really excited for it.
Oh yeah, man. Sounds cool. I'm looking forward to it. All right. So as we get to the end of this, I want to make sure we hit this. Where can our viewers find you and your brand?
So you guys can find us on Instagram. It's probably one of our biggest handles. On YouTube, we're decently prevalent, but on Instagram, we're posting every day. There's like a lot of story content, a lot of like feed content. So check out Water Buffalo TM on Instagram and check out Old School Matt on Instagram as my personal Instagram. And then that's where you'll check out all of our stuff, waterbuffalotm.com for any of our training programs and also our buff sauce as of right now. But in the future, we'll be switching over to Water Buffalo Labs for all the supplement stuff. But at the end of the day, everything's going to be under Water Buffalo TM. That's our parent company, and that's where we'll find all our stuff. So.
Oh yeah. Well, for everybody watching, all that'll be in the description below as well.
Definitely.
In this video. So if you need to reach out to them, look them up. That'll be there. All right, now's the fun time. I always like to end on something kind of outside the norm from what the interview questions were. So today, what's the most unusual thing you've ever eaten?
Most unusual thing I've ever eaten. I'm definitely going to steal this from you, by the way, and post it on my regular account. Yeah. I ate an we did so this is funny. So one of our YouTube videos that we have, it's like a series kind of thing. We try to do it as much as we can. We were doing it a lot last year, so we have a lot of like early videos, and we try to do one at least once a month now. It's called Buffalo Barbecue. So we go and we eat crazy things, and we basically just make a bunch of crazy dishes. We did we broke a world record with the world's biggest fish sandwich. That was pretty cool. And then the craziest thing that I've eaten is an iguana. So we ate an iguana. We went and hunted an iguana, ate it. It was really, really cool. Very interesting, very good. I would love to do it again when I have some free time and we have time to shoot a video. We want to do it again and make like something crazy out of like fried iguana or something. But we just made like a stew out of it. It was actually really good. It was surprisingly, I would definitely eat it again. I wouldn't go through the process of getting it because we had to go hunt it on like some private land, and we had to go through a canal to get it because it was on the other side. It was a hassle to get this iguana. But here, let me pull up the photo real quick so I can show the viewers that that's cool.
Yeah. What would you compare it to? Like,
it tastes like chicken thighs, so it's really not bad at all. I think that it's something that you think you're like, wow, how could a lizard taste good? But in reality, it's not anything different than just normal chicken. I think we've normalized in society certain foods to eat and certain foods not to eat. But overall, it's like food is food at the end of the day.
Yeah. Meat is meat.
Meat is meat. Protein is protein. I think that too many people are scared of like trying new things. So I think that you should definitely be willing and be able to just take a step. I mean, if it tastes a little funky, spit it out. I personally have a goal one day to travel, maybe when I'm older, and just try different foods. I'm quarter Vietnamese and I'm half Peruvian, so I want to go back to Vietnam and Peru. I've been there, but not since I was a kid. So I want to go back and do all the crazy foods over there because they do cobra hearts and like all weird types of stuff. They do like yeah. I would love to try any of that stuff. I've eaten guinea pig before too, but that was a very long time ago. This is the iguana we ate. I don't know if you can see it on there, but it's probably
there it goes. Yeah. Oh,
you see it?
God.
Yeah. It was awesome. It tasted like chicken thighs. It was very, very tender actually too. Chicken thighs with like a fish consistency. So like how chicken's pretty firm, like it's kind of like chewy. Yeah. It was like flaky chicken.
Okay.
So not bad. Mm-hmm.
All right.
But like when you see the tail, you're like you're freaking out, and it's got like a lot of cartilage in there, so it might turn your stomach off. But I encourage all the viewers out there, if you have an opportunity to eat exotic foods, you trust me, if you try something weird enough times, you're gonna find something you're like, damn, I wish I'm able to eat this like again and again and again.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. Cool deal.
Yeah.
All right, so the last thing I want to end on before we start wrapping up is there anything I didn't ask you that you'd like to cover?
No, you pretty much hit everything that I wanted to talk about. Hopefully, I'll be able to have you on our podcast at some point. I definitely enjoy the conversation. And you know what? Like you said earlier, we made another friend. I just want everyone out there who's watching this podcast / this interview, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it a podcast because I don't like to be. I'm not a celebrity. Even if one day, Corey and I get to the point where we can be considered as some. I never want to be considered as one. I'm just a normal person. So I enjoy, having these talks, having these conversations with people because you never know what you can learn. And also I like the fact that social media is so accessible towards other people because without social media, I probably would have never met Corey. I probably would have never met 90% of the people that I communicate with on a daily basis. So anyone out there who sees social media as a bad thing, yes, social media has a lot of bad things, probably more bad than good. But there's a lot of people like myself and like Corey who put out very good and informative content. So just go check out those types of people and it'll make your life a lot happier and a lot better.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer. The people you surround yourself is how you kind of portray yourself. So I agree 100%.
Exactly. And if you're in a bad position now in life, there's no excuse of saying like, I can't, I have no good influence around me. As sad as it sounds, like there's a whole planet of a platform where you can surround yourself with like-minded individuals. It's not going to be where you see them all the time, but some I would say even some of the closest friends of mine, I've met off of, just maybe it wasn't solely for social media, but I've known them through social media. We got together, blah, blah, the whole thing. So it's a great experience for you to learn from different people.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Couldn't have said any better myself. But all right, man. Well, I'll go ahead and we'll close this out here. I first of all want to thank you again for joining me here.
Anytime. Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Everybody watching, as we wrap this up, everything again will be down in the description for Matt and his channel, his brand, all that good stuff will be down there. So if you need to get in touch with him, reach out there. But other than that, man, I'll be in contact with you and we'll kind of wrap this up. All right.
Definitely. Yeah.